Hello, Tamily. Welcome to our first interview of October 2020, where we are going to highlight some very special TAM warriors. And we are going to start with the extremely inspiring Alicia. Her Instagram name is awt.tam. So definitely follow her if you aren't already. And we would like to highlight Breast Cancer Awareness Month with these 5 special TAM warriors. Of course, beginning with Alicia. We will get connected to her in just a moment. And we have questions planned, but it's fun to have questions for live from the chat. So please type them in. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Alicia. Thank you so much for joining us and being interview 114 for Ask Tamily.
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for supporting, October Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and highlighting this cause that affects all of us.
Absolutely. Yes. Thanks for being the first one of 5 what I'm sure are going to be very special interviews for us, with it being October and focusing on breast cancer awareness.
Yeah, well, I'm happy
so
to be.
We would like to jump right in with one of our first most favorite questions, but of course we'll look through the chat periodically as well for any questions from the Tamily. And our first question for you, Alicia, is when and how did you start with the Tracy Anderson method?
Let's see, I tried it a few times when I was, in the baby mode, when I was having my kids, and it was honestly it was really hard, as we all know. So I kind of was in and out of it, and I went to something else for a little bit just to try to get myself a little bit more in shape. And then I was actually taking a trip to New York for work, and I was I'm going to go to the studio. And I did the Matt DVD for the week before I went, and then I jumped right into a class at Tribeca's studio. So when I crawled out, when it was over, I literally was crawling up the steps, but I was hooked. I came home, I ordered Meta, and that was that. I did that for several months, and then I went into streaming. And I haven't turned back.
Amazing. Definitely jumping into a studio class is a way to find out if it's for you.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
What made you choose the Tracy Anderson method over other methods?
Okay, I'll try to tell a super quick backstory on that. I was an athlete my whole life. I started competitive swimming when I was in 4th grade. Did that through high school. I started rowing in high school. Ended up going to Syracuse on an athletic scholarship. And then I herniated a disc in my back in college doing rowing. So I went through a lot of years where I was doing physical therapy and just trying to, get that fixed, or, so I could actually move more. But the whole time that what really spoke to me about Tracy's method was the small muscle groups, because I felt so bulked out by athletics in general, that that's the thing that really kind of spoke to me. So I, in the 3 years that I've been doing this, it has definitely transformed me in so many ways. I just felt like I was one to tend to bulk up quickly, but so I needed, this really, I think, helps not do that, especially if you're prone to it. Like Tracy says, it's not just working the big muscle groups, it's working the small muscle groups. So yeah, that was really kind of what spoke to me about it. And it definitely has helped. I mean, even after babies, your core is a mess. That has completely rebuilt my core. And I have 0 back pain as long as I'm doing this.
Wow.
I had to take the couple months off after my surgery this year. My back was killing me. So it was like as soon as I could get back to it, I was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something a couple of people in different Ask Tamily interviews have said, like it's made a huge difference for them from a back pain perspective. And Tracy talks about, having a strong spine and strong core, like that's all very key to that.
Right, exactly. I mean, she obviously knows what she's talking about, and it's interesting to hear her say that, even though, we're always learning, right? So sometimes I'm like, oh my God, yes, that's why. Like that move for sure. Like I wouldn't have been able to pinpoint it just myself necessarily, but yeah, for sure. It is so good for, I mean, all your whole body, but yeah, for spine, absolutely.
Have you faced any challenges in doing the method?
Um, it's obviously I've had a lot of challenges just in the last year, with, having to kind of start over several times, go back to beginners and then try to work my way back up. Overall, I think it was getting over the first year, probably that hump of like, getting past, I don't know, like it is really hard, and you got to stick with it, and to see the benefits, it takes a little while, as we know. And so, to the point of like trying to do it, and my kids trying to ask me questions, and I can't even. I'm like, you can't talk to me right now. I can't even process that. Yeah. And even recently with Tracy talking about, like, as she does a lot of why she doesn't talk in the classes, I get it totally. And honestly, probably not having a coach of some sort like yell in your ear all the time is so, yeah, I was done with that.
Yeah, that is definitely pivotal. It's like either this is the only way you can work out from now on, or I guess there are people that like that aspect of being yelled during a workout, but
I've had it. That I'm over it.
I can't go back to that ever.
No.
Obviously, Alicia, the entire family finds you very inspirational. How have you been able to keep yourself motivated to focus on fitness so regularly through various challenges?
I think it's that it really does help you feel better. And when you can really feel that, especially when there's, and it's a plus and minus with all the lockdown situations, this past year, kind of, I don't know, when you feel like, when you don't work out and you don't feel great, like, and going through treatment and everything, that's escalated so much that, working out, even when I didn't feel like it, I knew, when you can really feel the difference of, wow, that joint pain that I had from chemo went away for a couple of hours and I felt okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, that hooks you to keep.
Yeah, that's an interest. I didn't expect you to say something like that. So that's an interesting, benefit.
Not many, obviously I hope that most don't have to go through that. But yeah, it really exacerbates that feeling, those medications. So yeah, it was interesting to me even, to really feel like, oh wow, like after a few times, I'm like, it actually went away for a couple of hours. So
yeah, like, I mean, exercise really is the best thing for your body.
Yeah.
And mind. And of course, there's times that, you have to listen to your body and know that you can't do it. Yeah. But most of the time, if you can, it's going to make some kind of.
I mean, even just, I was doing beginners. It wasn't like I was, really pushing it. I was doing what I could, but not trying to overdo it.
Right.
And yeah, and it still helps.
Yeah. Exactly. Even if you just do arms.
Right. Just do something.
So who in the Tamily inspires you?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this question is like everybody. I honestly, like this past year has been very crazy. And everyone has like jumped on supporting me like to a degree that I can't even like I'm so appreciative of everybody. It's I mean I can't even start naming because it's like so long. I mean, I do have to give a really special shout out to Sigrid who jumped on this October train with me, like without even hesitating. And she has been like a true like partner in this whole thing. Like it's not just the leggings, it's everything. And she's really been like a rock for riding this crazy idea of mine. So yeah, so she's definitely very special. But everybody is just, yeah, everybody is so supportive. This community is just amazing. Amazing.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Well, we have a question for you in the chat from Deb or Tam Menopausal.
Uh-huh.
She said, has Tam helped you feel like you have some control in an out of control situation?
Yes, absolutely. And that definitely plays into it. That's a really good point. Because yeah, I didn't have a lot of control over anything for a while. And that definitely was that regular thing that I could make the choice to do to help myself. And in many ways. So absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point too. We are at least in charge of how and when we move. So
Yeah, yes, exactly. Exactly.
that was a great question, Deb. Do you have any workout partners?
No, I mean, except for the Zoom crew once in a while. But no, I do tend to like to just like kind of zone in and, have that, as Tracy puts, like that meditative kind of workout. So usually it's just me, but like this morning Michelle and I were rocking through fundamental.
Yeah, that definitely gives some energy,
It's nice to have that once in a while, like, as much as, you can make it work for your schedule. But yeah, it's great to have that extra support, especially like today was a little bit tough getting through the end of fundamental, like finishing. So it was good that I had a little inspiration.
So what do your friends and family think of the Tracy Anderson method?
I'm sure we can all relate that there's probably a portion of them that think we're nuts. It's interesting. Like I felt a little bit, I know I've had some comments about like, oh, it's expensive. Like you could go to a gym for like half the price. And it's like, you know what? I spend this much on my kids taking a gymnastics class every month. Like, why shouldn't I do that for myself? That's that one thing that I want to do for myself. And yeah, it's more money than what somebody else might pay for working out, but I use it 6 days a week. And I mean, when you calculate that out, it's really not that expensive.
Yeah. And I mean, the fact that it's available anywhere that you go and the choices.
Yeah. And especially now more than ever, being able to do it from home.
Yeah. Oh gosh, definitely.
Yeah.
What on earth would we have done if we didn't already have this?
I know. I'm so grateful that was all in place already. For everybody.
Yeah. And having this community, I mean, because anyone that's committed to a fitness routine, whether it's Tracy or not, there are tons of people that are crazy, of course, about working out. I can't imagine if like our workout ended the day that everything.
Oh my God, no.
Down.
I know.
I cannot. So, and thank goodness for this community too.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
So I know you've been to a studio. Have you ever been to a Vitality Week or been able to meet Tracy?
No, I've not been to a Vitality Week. I would love to go, but I have to be able to keep up. um, and when I was in the studio, when I went to the Tribeca studio, again, that was about 3 years ago, I really wanted to meet Tracy, and the receptionist was so cute. He was like, she's going to be here in like 20 minutes. If you want to stay and meet her. And I was like, I have to go to work. I'm here for work, and I have to go like get ready. So I couldn't stay, but so no.
Oh, no. So close.
I know, so close.
Aw. Well, honestly, just being able to meet some of the people that work there and the trainers and stuff,
They're all awesome.
as meeting Tracy.
Yeah, they're all awesome. Yeah.
Would you have any advice for someone that is new to the method or new to the Tamily?
I think the biggest thing is don't get discouraged. It's hard. We all know it's hard. It doesn't really get that much easier. Like it does in certain ways, but just don't get discouraged. I mean, I would start and stop for a couple of times before, just trying to do like the post-pregnancy DVD and stuff like that. And it was really hard, but I'm glad I came back to it and stuck with it because it's as we all know, it's not a quick fix. It's not a fad thing. You got to really just make the commitment and just go with it and just you stay in beginners if that's what is your max. But don't get discouraged and just do what you can.
Yeah. And lately, I mean, even beginners is challenging for people who've done the method for years.
Beginners is like really, I mean, she said that, right? It's like really upping the level. So it's,
She is serious about us being healthy and fit.
Yes, very, very.
What is something that you have learned from Tracy?
Oh my gosh, so many things. What's like the biggest takeaway? I mean, I think a lot of it is really learning how to engage those certain muscle groups. Because even I felt like for a long time when I was doing it, it took me a long time to build up enough strength like in my core, and then B, like build up that even more and recognize that like I need to keep everything tight and I need to, like really, focusing on the moves and the angles and everything and actually really understanding it, not like, getting to a point in the method where you're not just like really trying to just keep up, but being able to like do that breakdown and like really, I don't know. That's probably the biggest thing like I've learned, and really how to control your own body.
Right. Which sounds like something we should easily be able to do, and it's not. Like we're not in touch.
Right. And even there's a lot of learning. A lot of learning that has to happen.
What is most important to you from a wellness perspective besides just having your commitment to a fitness routine?
That's been a big thing, a big rabbit hole that I've been in lately. Nutrition obviously is very key. Even though I thought I ate pretty healthy before I was diagnosed, there's a lot of things that I'm learning that are just like, oh, I really should be eating more of this and less of this. And so nutrition is really big. And then mentally, just like that using meditation or whatever it is like that to calm your mind. I think that also really helps play into it. And that is a part of the workout that I think there is that aspect there. I think that those are really big, like just kind of taking care of yourself and really de-stressing.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, nutrition is important, but whatever you're putting in your body that's causing the stress as well.
Yeah, because all of that, your mind can really mess up anything, anything. We all know what stress does. So yeah, just really trying to de-stress and not take certain things so seriously. You gotta let it roll off.
Yeah. Yeah. How would you say that, some of the challenges you've been through have kind of changed your perspective about, maybe what's important in life?
Yeah, that's a big one. And I think on the heels of that de-stressing, that's been a big one for me. I was always like go, 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 with work, driving the kids around, all of that stuff. And you just and I think also COVID has kind of brought that to light as well. We're like, you know what, this isn't really important. Like, it's not a big deal if we don't have this activity or that activity. Like,
Mhm.
it's been kind of nice to just like chill and spend more time just, you know, with your family instead of, yeah, just go, go, go all the time.
Right. And like being everything and
Yeah.
everywhere. I mean, that's something that stood out to me in your video that's on the Tam Nation page about, your journey, that you said something like, I'm a type A. And I was like, even though everyone in the Tamily is different, I think that's the trait that we're all trying to be like the best possible thing for everyone in our lives, from careers to family. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to
Yeah.
step back and not feel that pressure and not let that that influence you to think you have to be everything.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It really does kind of put things in perspective. When you really have to like stand back and be like, wow, like if this, if I only had a couple years left, really, or, hopefully that's not the case. But yeah, what's really important, what
Right.
really matters. Yeah.
Exactly. Um, have you received any advice from the Tamily that has made an impact to you?
Oh my gosh, so much. Um, oh my gosh, that's going to be like kind of a tough one to answer because I've gotten a lot of advice the last year. And I mean, if anything, it's just more of just the supportive nature of everything, and just helping me get through those tough spots. Like just it's just I've gotten so many like kind and sweet like comments and just little notes where it's like, hey, I was thinking about you. Hope you're doing well. Those little things are very helpful, especially when you're going through tough stuff. So, if anything, this community is obviously amazing, but for I mean, again, so many people have reached out. It's been amazing, but for anyone who's going through any type of um, rough spot or whatever, I mean, I've just seen everyone just gather around and really, it's just awesome. Like, I really can't say enough about this community. They're just amazing.
It really is the most amazing community on earth. I'm
Yeah.
committed to that
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah.
Alicia, what would you want to share about your journey with the Tamily, and maybe any lesson that you would hope they could know from you?
Um, yeah, I mean, obviously, I say this in the other interview. I mean, a lot of this year has really been centered around again, we hear this from Tracy all the time, just to stand up for yourself and stand up for your health. Um, do what you need to do if something's just not right. And it's so important. So, so, so important. Like if I had not gone back and insisted on the mammogram I was talked out of, 2 months prior to being diagnosed, I mean, that's scary. That's scary to think about how far along that would have, I mean, that would have been for sure stage 4 if I had waited a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as much as, there's a lot of things that are important in life, but don't take your health for granted at all. I mean, not that anyone's trying to, but don't wait, you know, don't put off things, and just, you know, take care of it. Like if you're going to be diagnosed with anything, it's better to catch it early than late. I mean, at least you have options to deal with it instead of getting to a point where you don't have a lot of options. Yeah. So, you know, in that regard, like, yes, it's scary and nobody wants to be told that they have a disease, but you can get a better handle on it, and you just have better outcomes if you catch it early.
Yeah. And I think to one of the points you made about like trusting yourself, like if you think that you need this test, do it. Get another opinion, or, you know, you're in charge of you.
Yeah. And do what you need to do to get the test. If you have to give them a reason, give them the reason they need. Like, I hate to say it that way, but right. you have to sometimes. I mean, if you're not really being listened to, or they don't think it's a big deal, like, yeah. Exactly. Do what you need to do to get it done.
So how do you fit your workout into your life with everything that you do have going on?
I try, usually I'm a morning person. So it's usually my first thing in the morning, get it done. Because if I don't get it done first thing in the morning, it's not going to happen. I mean, except for when I was going through treatment, and I would really kind of have to wait till the middle of the day, because I needed to like warm up. It took my body just so much more time to warm up and get to a point where I felt like I could go do it. But yeah, generally I'm in the morning, like before school or before all work. Yeah. Otherwise the day just gets away from me. It's so much going on. So yeah, at least hopefully I can keep doing it while it's light out. It's the 5 a.m.s are hard. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
right,
that's for
sure. Like 6 or 7.
What is your usual, you know, routine now with the workout? I know there's times you've done beginners, like what are you doing now, and kind of what's your philosophy about that?
You know, I'm still doing treatment, so it's not quite as severe as, you know, the other regular chemo, but you know, I strive to do fundamental. Mm-hmm. But there are days that, you know, I'm just feeling a little more tired, or just a little, you know, where I do beginner. And I know right now my biggest side effects that everybody's seen are my hands and my feet from this medication. So sometimes just because of that, like I need to do beginners. Mm-hmm. But I do strive to get that fundamental. I have not been brave enough to try the chair yet, but hopefully I will be able to.
I hate the chair, but there's a lot of different beliefs about that. Oh, I'm sure it's worth trying it.
Yeah, for sure.
How did you discover the Tamily?
How did I discover the Tamily? I think when I was on Instagram, and when I started following Tracy, I think I kind of like stalked the comment list and like, you know, realized that there were all these people in there that all had like TAM specific accounts. Mm-hmm. So I kind of just started stalking everybody and friending people, and it took me a little while to get brave enough to post. But when I did, I made a separate account for, you know, because it took me a little bit longer to get brave. And even my first post, like, you can't see my face, I'm like just my body. So yeah, I've come a little ways with the post, but yeah, I think that's kind of how I started finding everybody. And then once you're kind of in that, you see people, you know, there's constantly people that are new, or that you haven't seen before. So yeah, just start building your little community.
Yeah, then you're in the never-ending
yes
universe of Tamily.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you say you didn't post your face in your first post. I don't think I posted my face for like a year.
Oh, really?
Yes. So many people do that, like picture of their shoes, like
Yes, yes.
that. And then now we'll all just post a
Now
million.
we're like so over it at this point. Like, whatever.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's an interesting journey with the posting. And, it's not for everyone, but it definitely is so motivating to
Yes.
see those posts. And
Yeah.
especially to see people going through, a challenge like you have and still working out. Like, I mean, it makes such close knit, supportive type of community.
Yes, absolutely. And I've had a few times where I've accidentally posted to the wrong account. Oh my, it's so bad. I can't handle, I'm like, oh my God, who saw this? If it's Tamily, I'm totally fine, but just
Right.
the regular, they'll probably think I'm crazy.
Oh, that's funny. I can't imagine. I only have one Instagram. Otherwise, I would have done that, I'm sure, a million times.
Oh my gosh, you're brave. I only have one Instagram.
I don't let anyone in it but Tamily, though.
Oh,
So.
yeah, I can't. The regular family and friends, I'm like, yeah, they don't get it.
Yeah, no. I just tell them I don't have Instagram. What is most important to you to balance your life?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. Especially the ever changing, this year, like the balance is, definitely family and with myself, just the wellness of, keeping my workouts regular, taking time out to do even if it's just like a little 5-minute meditation, just to bring that, bring the level down a bit. So yeah, and I'm trying to, I mean, the kids have been, home doing school plus work. So I've been trying to, I haven't been working quite as many hours just to try to can't let myself get stressed out and working until, 10 o'clock at night, and then that ruins your sleep. And so, yeah, and all that stuff is so important, that the sleep, the exercise, the calm, de-stressing. So trying to really balance all that out. It's an ever changing thing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a question from Shai Sintra in the chat. She said, you mentioned Syracuse for college. Are you originally from the Northeast?
Yes. Well, I was born in the Midwest. And then when I was about in first grade, I was still pretty little, we moved to upstate New York in the Syracuse area, and that's where I mainly grew up.
And where do you live now?
Phoenix, Arizona. So far on the other side.
Right, all over.
Yeah, we went from, after Syracuse, we lived in Chicago for a couple of years. And we were trying to get to the West Coast for a little bit. We said we'd try Phoenix for a year or two max, and now we've been here for 14 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy.
It's an interesting journey around the United States.
It is. I miss the East Coast, but hopefully after all this stuff dies down, I can get back there soon.
Yeah. I always say you can always visit, and I'm like, well, not this year, but other years.
Yeah.
Always visit.
South Carolina?
I actually just moved across the border to North Carolina now.
Oh, okay. So my parents are in South Carolina now.
Yeah, I
love that.
Yeah, it's wonderful weather.
Yeah, for sure.
Alicia, what are you most proud of personally and professionally?
Oh gosh, that's such a tough one. I mean, personally, I'm so proud of my kids and my family for, how they've handled this whole year. They've been just rock stars through all of this. And, you know, that's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. So I'm so, you know, proud and grateful that they've just been able to handle this like, you know, they've just been awesome. And then I don't know, professionally, I don't know, this is so silly, but like it was right after my surgery. My mom had taken a picture of me that I posted that I looked absolutely terrible in. Terrible picture. But anyway, we had this picture of, it was just a couple of days after the surgery. I had no hair. I don't know, for me it was hard to see myself like that. But I'm a designer, so Tracy actually commented on the picture that she loved the kitchen. And I don't know why, that was just like such a like, okay, like I'm out, like that's all I needed to hear. Like, so, I mean, when it's your work and that's, you know, what you do every day and in and out. So it was nice to hear that like little snippet of like, oh, I love that. But anyway, yeah, projects are always, you know, up and down or interesting. And I've been lucky enough, especially in this area, to work on some really great projects. So, yeah,
That's fantastic.
Fun.
If you could say something to your 20-year-old self, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, stop eating sugar. Stop eating sugar. Exercise regularly, because at that point I was, you know, I had my back injury and that was difficult to deal with, but it took me a long time to get back into exercise after that. But yeah, those are some really big things that I've learned, especially this past year with nutrition and whatnot. It's like, you think you're eating healthy for the most part, and then you realize like, oh wow, that had a lot more sugar than I thought. Like, or this had a lot of sugar that I thought it's supposed to be healthy, but it's yeah, and sugar just, it can, you know, and even more importantly now with immunity, like sugar kills your immunity. So yeah. Detox off the sugar.
That is definitely key.
Yeah.
What would you want to share with the Tamily about how they can support breast cancer awareness and the cause that you're behind?
You know, first and foremost, take care of yourself. Like in as a whole, you know, with how you know, just day-to-day life and regular checkups. So that's really key. And then it's, you know, and a lot of what this month is about is bringing awareness, and this is something that has a lot of awareness behind it already. But it's more, for me, it's about all the things that I didn't know. You think you're aware and like check yourself every month, and that's kind of like what we've always been told. But the nutrition, just some of the facts that I've read that I'm like, wow, this is something that's so easy, and I had no idea. Like drinking 3 cups of green tea a day is amazing for cancer fighting properties. Less in sugar. All of those things are just really so important, and those are the things that I would love to bring more awareness behind, because I feel like it's easy when you don't have breast cancer to be like, well, you know, it doesn't really affect me, but you have to really take care of yourself in a way that is, you know, not cancer promoting. And what are those? And that's really where I'm like, okay, this is where I think I didn't know these things, a lot of them, and I'm still learning. But those are the things to me that are important to bring awareness to, because everybody could drink 3 cups of green tea a day. I mean, that's easy, right? Like I that's, you know, so again, small things, small changes that you can make and just keep implementing them to really, you know, help yourself in the future.
That's a very, very important message.
Yeah.
And especially being able to, you know, hear it from you and know that so much of the Tamily has been watching you through your journey and is inspired by it. And to know that really you need to prioritize yourself and your health. That's
Yeah. I mean, like, read the books. I know Tracy she featured that How Not to Die.
Mhm.
And that book is great. I mean, if you haven't read it or if you don't have it, and it goes through every type of kind of disease separately in each chapter, and it really does help kind of break it down in a way that you can kind of put things into place or put things, you know, take action on certain things.
Yeah, that's a good point because I think sometimes people think it's going to be too hard, it's going to be too much, and so I'll just have to worry about that later.
Yeah, yeah. It's just crazy to me the amount of facts that I've learned. I'm like, how did I not know this? Like how? I mean, just eating processed meat, which we all know it's not great, but how bad it really is. I mean, the limit for I think I read, don't quote me, but I think I read like for women, especially in terms of breast cancer, it equals out to be like one piece of like say bacon, like one piece is the maximum you should have like a week.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, that's really easy to go way over that. With if you think of any processed meat, a hot dog, a
Yeah.
pepperoni, like on a pizza, like
Mhm.
it's really and it's tough to not get in the rabbit hole like that I'm kind of in right now on that, uh, but yeah, that stuff is really it is really important to really be aware of.
It's a good point that you make that you can do small things,
Yeah.
small changes, and you can build on that. Like
Yes.
some things that are easy, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, we have a question from Michelle in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
She says, what else have you added to your nutrition to help your journey? Please keep sharing. I didn't realize how much sugar influenced cancer.
Yeah. Another thing is one of the best things that I've read that you can eat for breast cancer specifically, and it helps with other cancers as well, um, is broccoli. But actually, I mean, broccoli is still good, but broccoli sprouts are the most potent. So incorporating, they say at least a quarter cup of broccoli sprouts a day, like significantly lowers your risk. We're going to do a post next week from another doctor that was also involved with Tracy's performance program, Dr. Amy Shaw. She was the one that sent me the study on intermittent fasting with cancer, specifically breast cancer. They did a study for it, and I posted about this a couple weeks ago, a little blurb about it. We're just doing not even a full on like an 18-hour, fast or 16-hour fast. Even at that 13 to 14-hour window, you can drop your cancer risk by 37%, I think it was. Huh. So it's like, again, that's even if you push breakfast back a little bit later, that's one thing that could have a really big difference in your life, in prevention. So there's tons of little things like that I've learned, and that I'm trying to incorporate, for sure. But good question, Michelle. I've got lots if you just ask.
Yeah, if you just do one or two things at a time, it can be manageable.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, even like the broccoli sprouts, the green tea, trying to lower sugar, those things right there are fantastic ways to start.
Absolutely. Well, there's tons of "we love you" and your amazing and beautiful comments in the chat. I think we've gotten all the questions in there though, but definitely type your questions in if you have any more for Alicia, because we are getting close to the end here. We would also like to know from you, Alicia, how do you feel immediately after you finish a workout?
Oh my God, awesome, right? We did it. I feel like we can all relate to that one. Like, I made it. I mean, at least for me this year, I was like, whew, I made it. It's always a great feeling to like finish and be like, okay, I did it for today. And now I feel like I can move on and accomplish all of this other stuff. Yeah.
Do you have a motivational quote that you would like to share with the Tamily, maybe that you rely on for motivation at all?
Well, I mean, obviously you've all seen this one. And that's kind of like been my thing this year of, like, and it relates to a lot of things like with workouts and really anything, right? Any difficult situation or even positive situation, like you can do it. You can, like dig in a little deeper and find whatever support you need um, and accomplish what you need to accomplish.
And know that the support is there, like honestly, if anyone in the Tamily needs support,
Yeah,
they just reach out. It's there.
right. And everybody will jump for sure.
We have another question from Deb. She said, "Are you going to keep your hair short? It looks amazing." And it does.
Oh my gosh, you guys are
I
so.
love it.
It's definitely easier, that's for sure. It's way faster. I would like to grow it out. It's curling. So if you can tell,
It
it's,
looks so cute though.
oh, thank you. I feel like it's getting a little funky, but I'm gonna probably grow it out. I can always cut it again, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'd like to grow it out a little longer. But we'll see what it looks like. And I don't know what I think I'm gonna keep my silver sparkles.
It looks so cool. I love it. I love
Thank
it.
you. That's one thing I was debating before all this happened was I had so many gray roots and from having dark hair, I mean, hopefully you don't have as many grays as I had, but it's a struggle because it's so noticeable in your roots.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, but how do you just grow it out? I mean, it would look ridiculous with dark hair to grow it out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like at least as much
right.
as you can see now. So in a way it forced me to like, well, I got to start over anyway. So might as well leave it instead of going back into that cycle of dyeing it all the time.
Yeah, and I think it seems to me, at least just on the dark hair side of things, it's harder to do like a transition and just kind of, change root colors to get there. Like it would seem a little easier if people have lighter hair to me. But yeah, you're right. If you get like a clean slate,
yeah,
you can consider it. And kind it looks super cool.
There.
It honestly looks like you did it on purpose. Like it's like slightly edgy. I love it.
I've never had short hair like this. So it's definitely, I don't know. I'm up and down every day. Some days I'm like, yeah, this is fine. And then other days I'm like, ugh, I want my long hair back.
Well, and like you said in your video, that is like one of the biggest physical, very noticeable changes, to go through.
Yeah, for sure. It is. And and again, I hate to say that the hair is like a big deal because it really it just shouldn't be it doesn't seem like it should feel like a big deal, as big a deal as the cancer itself comparatively. But yeah, it just, everybody can tell.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, it's,
can't really hide it once you
the most outward type of thing.
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, we all think that you look fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
And Debbie says that grays are wisdom hair, so we should try to embrace that.
A lot of wisdom going on here.
You actually do as well, so that's fantastic. What else is important to you that you would like the Tamily to know?
Oh my gosh. So much. I mean, just don't take things for granted. You know, your family, your support around you, your kids, your parents, like everything, like just be grateful every day that you have, even through like the tough times or the disagreements or whatever it is, like at the end of the day, like if you didn't have them around, you would be sad. so um so yeah, just be grateful for all those little things around you that are joyful and bring happiness, and it's so important to stay positive. And I mean, really, like, happiness is a big factor too. I've even been told, like, fake it till you make it, like because it mentally, it's so good for your body to have that happiness mode and be joyful and grateful and all of that, and whatever you can find that's around your life every day that you can be grateful for.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an excellent message. So I think that we have asked all of our planned questions for you. Just want to make sure we didn't miss anything. Oh, well, what's your favorite pizza topping, especially since you're not eating pepperoni?
Oh my gosh. And I have to say, like, a nice piece of pizza with pepperoni on it is really good. But other than that, I would say like artichokes. Artichokes are always good. Mm-hmm.
That is a great one. That's a great one. I also do love broccoli as a pizza topping. People might think that's crazy. It is so good. So now I feel great about it because
yes,
told me about broccoli.
Exactly. That makes your pizza much more healthy, right?
Well, I think that we got all of our questions from the chat as well. And I just have to say, Alicia, thank you so much for doing this interview and for being part of the Tamily and posting and being brave and being so open and being part of this very important cause for this month and keeping the Tamily aware and focused on their own health and wellness.
Well, thank you. And I send out huge thanks to everyone who has donated something or just, commented, whatever it is, like somehow supporting this movement that, it's not really a movement, but this just awareness in any way is fantastic. Yeah, as a community, it's amazing what we can accomplish, right?
It really, really is.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for the Tamily.
Yeah. Thank you for having all of us on for the month. And I hope that it really brings some inspiration to everyone.
Well, we were off to a fantastic start. Thank you for your inspiration, Alicia.
Thank you.
And this interview is going to go on to Ask Tamily right now, and then we'll also post it onto YouTube in a few days.
All right. Awesome.
Alicia.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye. Bye-bye.